Donnie Yen is the Asian actor there, and we're going to talk a lot about him. Donnie Yen being a part of this.
Yen.
Okay, so why do people not like Donnie Yen?
So, Hong Kongers started this. This is not some Western imperialism.
No, this is a. I mean, you can see who started this petition. The Chinese name is right there.
Yeah. So, Hong Kongers don't like Donnie Yen, and there's a reason. Donnie Yen joined the Communist Party of China.
Yeah.
He's from Hong Kong, by the way.
Yeah.
He once had U.S. citizenship,
Yeah.
which he got rid of.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's his choice.
Yeah.
Even though there are literally millions of Chinese people that die for U.S. citizenship and die trying to come here.
Well, he did it obviously because having that would have been like a barrier of entry for him to be a part of the Communist Party of China and all that.
So he joined the CCP.
Yeah.
Right. Then I won't get into the other acronyms for all this stuff.
Actually, we can.
We can.
Let's take a look.
Kung Fu star Donnie Yen is listed as a member of this year's National Committee of the Chinese People Political Consultative Conference, CPPCC. CPPCC. CPPCC.
So you guys remember the CPPCC is this illusionary body that is supposed to advise. They're the outside democratic people to advise the CCP.
Well, it's actually just members of the CCP.
Yes, correct. It's all a big circle jerk. Anyway, Donnie Yen was a member, and then people in Hong Kong are like, what are you actually doing? You're a Hong Konger. We have a democratic territory.
Yeah.
We support democracy. We align more with the West than we do with China, right? And he also called the protesters, the millions of protesters, literally the 2 million protesters in Hong Kong that stood up against the CCP when the national security law was unleashed by the Chinese government, called them rioters, right? And made remarks that made him align with Beijing over the Hong Kong people.
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Take a look what's going on here. Okay, blah, blah, blah. That's him, obviously, outside the two sessions here. He is full-on Communist Party member. There he is shaking the hands of Xi Jinping. And, of course, here we have him standing right next to Xi Jinping, which, by the way, that's not normal.
That is like, I mean, you got connections.
Yeah. There he is right next to Xi Jinping during the gala.
And Carrie Lam.
And there's Xi Jinping's wife in the red dress on the other side. Yeah. But it just shows you how close he is to the Communist Party of China.
That's why.
Now, there's a reason for this, okay? The Communist Party of China knows how valuable somebody like Donnie Yen is, okay? Because he's well known internationally. He's an international star, and this is soft power. So here is an actual screenshot from that petition that's written by the Hong Kong guy, and I would like you to read it so that everybody can see exactly what the grievances are against Donnie Yen before we get into some damning interviews and so on that we've got for you.
Yeah, it says, to the Oscars committee, we, a group of people from Hong Kong, are writing to express our concern about your decision to invite an actor who supports the Chinese Communist Party's violation of human rights, Donnie Yen, as a presenter for the Oscars. As a globally recognized film award, the Oscars should represent the respect of human rights and moral values rather than the support of the actions that violate them. Donnie Yen, a supporter of the Chinese Communist regime, has made several remarks in support of the Chinese government's policies, including supporting the implementation of national security law in Hong Kong. By the way, that law means that if you speak out against the Chinese government in Hong Kong,
you get arrested.
You get arrested and you get tried as basically a mainland person. And accusing Hong Kong protesters of being rioters. These remarks not only violate the spirit of freedom of speech, but also deny the rights of the people of Hong Kong to fight for their freedom and democracy, which I agree with. We strongly condemn this decision, which not only shows contempt for the people of Hong Kong, but also provokes the global public. If the Oscars committee continues to invite such a person as a guest presenter, it will damage the image and reputation of the film industry and cause serious harm to human rights and moral values. Agree with that as well, especially with people trying to push Hollywood from, stopping to capitulate to the Chinese government. Sure. We demand that the Oscars committee reconsider this decision and cancel the invitation of Donnie Yen as a presenter for the Oscars. Let us work together to uphold human rights and moral values and make the Oscars a truly respectful award. Thank you for your time and attention. Now, I just want to throw my spin on this real quick.
Sure.
I don't particularly care too much about what goes on in the entertainment field, as long as things are staying above board and not like removing content for the Communist Party of China.
Yeah.
If an actor uses his personal decision to decide to evilly chase power and become part of the CCP, go for it, dude.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. If you want to go down that path, you have to live with yourself, right?
Sure.
But I think it comes with a lot of baggage, and it was stuff that we started uncovering. I went from not really caring and saying might be a personal decision that has really bad implications to, wait, there might be some bullshit going on here,
Sure.
and you can get into that.
Yeah, anyway, I uncovered this wonderful interview with Donnie Yen that I thought we should all take a look at here.
我在北京，
还有呢？
谁妄想这样干，必将在14多亿中国人民用血肉铸成的钢铁长城面前碰得头破血流。
I'm going to need a gun.
I mean, first of all, we have to talk about why Donnie Yen is popular.
By the way, that was a parody. That was Xi Jinping's speech.
Yeah.
I just don't want anyone to be confused. It doesn't speak Chinese. That was Xi Jinping's speech where he said Chinese people will defend him, basically.
Well, no, he said that I will use
Yeah.
the Chinese people as a meat shield.
That's literally what you could really translate.
That's
that to.
what it
Yeah.
is.
Anyway, so that's a joke. But what's not a joke is what you're about to say.
Yeah, okay, so why is Donnie Yen popular? Okay, there's a reason. He's actually a very accomplished martial artist. He's actually, very
One of the
good
best,
at Wing Chun, I think it is, and Kung Fu and stuff, and that's what he does. He's known. He's kind of like a Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Jet
And a good
Li.
actor as well.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so here's a clip of him demonstrating some of his, abilities. By the way, I didn't edit this.
Okay.
I have to preface you, this particular clip, I didn't touch it. I just cut it out out of the show.
And this is not even making fun of Donnie Yen.
No.
I love the background.
I promise you. I promise
love
you. I did.
Korean TV. They do this thing on Korean shows where they do things like 3 times.
It's the same. China copied this. It's called Running Man. This.
Yeah.
I was sorely disappointed because I really liked the movie The Running Man, and then Running Man. I turn it on and it's like this.
Yeah.
Someone will freak out and go and they have to repeat it 3 times. But yeah, that's him. If you're listening to that out of context,
dude,
it
that
sounds,
was MP3
it's
times
so bad,
6.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought we'd show you some of his prowess. He's an incredibly good martial artist, and why he became so popular. I thought I'd give you guys a couple of clips for those of you who just aren't familiar with his work. Let's take a look.
Let's see whose fists are the fastest. Yours or mine?
So yeah, as you can see, fantastic martial artist. He's very good at what he does.
Very tenacious, very resilient.
Yeah, very resilient. Yeah. But now, why is it?
By the way, Mike Tyson, probably one of the best actors out there.
Absolutely.
He really puts on a good lisp. He puts on the whole. By the way, I think I know how he got the gig.
Oh, he's got a Mao Zedong tattoo.
There's like a dog whistle, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to get into a CCP affiliated film unless you got a Mao tattoo?
Yeah.
Mike Tyson has a badass Mao tattoo.
Yeah.
Big celebrator of genocide, apparently. Yeah. Anyway.
So, okay, here's the thing. I used to really enjoy Donnie Yen movies. I used to watch them when I was in China.
Yeah.
I love Hong Kong movies in general. I think there's specifically that sweet spot in the 90s, the late 80s and the early 90s that are just amazing, from Beijing with Love and that kind of thing.
Absolutely love it.
Super good. Like God of Gamblers, all that kind of thing. Like Hong Kong movies are very special. Amazing. They're very cool. Super entertaining, super cool. Anyway, So I used to watch Donnie Yen movies, and I enjoyed it a lot because I think he is actually legitimately a very good martial artist, and I'm not making that up. I really do think so. But then my wife and I sat down to watch Ip Man 4, okay? And I was appalled. Ip Man 4
You got tricked, bro?
is
You got mad tricked?
literally propaganda. It is horrendous.
Right.
Okay, and I have to set this up for you guys. So the whole thing behind Ip Man 4, in Ip Man 1, it's kind of set historically, it's during the Japanese occupation, and, the Japanese are doing, like, all the horrible things, and he comes in there and he beats them up with his kung fu, and it's that type of thing. And
It's fantasy, obviously.
Yeah, it's
Fine.
revolutionary fantasies, really.
Revolutionary fantasy.
It absolutely
Hong Kong
is,
style.
yeah. But it moves on from that. So now, in Ip Man 4, it's like in the 50s, okay? And he's in Hong Kong, and he's like, I want to send my son, I think it's his son, I want to send my son to America to study. Because, of course, even now in Hong Kong, that's a very popular thing to do, is to send your children abroad. In China.
In China,
In fact,
if you
in
have
China,
money, yeah.
If you have money, you send your kids abroad. I mean, even, all the big officials and stuff send their kids abroad.
Normal.
Yeah. So the premise of this movie is he goes to America to go and, like, check things out, to send his son over there.
Yeah.
What does he encounter in America? He encounters the most bizarre, like, ridiculous racism and discrimination against Asians.
The whole movie is built on like racism.
Yeah, there's like a Marine drill instructor who's just racist and goes and beats up Chinese people in Chinatown.
Right.
Then there's like a Chinese soldier in his regiment who wants to practice with his kung fu, and the racist Marine sergeant comes in and, like, forces him to burn it. He's like, we won't have that, insert racial slur stuff on our base. Then he challenges and beats up all the Chinese people. And then, Donnie Yen comes in and teaches him a lesson, basically, and beats him up and, like, sets everything right. And the end of the film, Donnie Yen goes back to China and says, it's better for my son to study and stay in China than to go to America.
That's what made it so fishy to me, is that in the end, there's a lesson, and that's don't go to America because it's bad.
And it's like, put yourself in Donnie Yen's shoes. You're considering to send your children to go study in America? Well, better not, because look, Donnie Yen went over there and saw how full of racism and shit it is and how terrible it is. So rather let your child study here. I
mean, granted, it does take place in the 50s. So there obviously was massive amounts of racism back then. But here's my problem with it, is that the transparency of this, I think, is not there. I feel like if you showed this to an American audience, people watch that, acknowledge the racism of the past, come out of that movie and say that was an entertaining movie, right?
Yes.
By the way, I think the acting in this is horrific.
Well, we have to show you a scene.
I just want to say something. People in China...
Yeah.
And it's not to say people are brainwashed to the extent they can't decide if a movie's fact or fiction, but the Chinese government uses movies like this to promote their agenda. So when you see this clip, keep that in mind. There's two different perspectives people would look at this from, right?
Yeah.
It'd be looked at as fact.
By the way, I also want to preface that the actress, the young girl here who's supposed to be Chinese, is actually
mixed,
half Chinese.
Yeah.
And she's anyway, that's
whatever.
It is what it is. But if they could have.
Don't know why
they could have done it a bit different if they wanted to drive this home. Anyway, let's take a look.
Look so great out there. You look like a little yellow monkey. We're not going to follow your lead. In America, people like you follow. They don't lead.
What do you want? Just leave me alone.
If you're not happy, then go back to Asia.
Like this.
I mean, it's just
this
like,
kind of it's like race baiting.
Yeah, if you're gonna race bait, do it properly, with good acting and shit.
Like, who says this?
It's so cherry picked and badly written. It's so bad.
Yeah, and it just fits into all the narrative that's going on at the moment with the anti-Asian hate and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And don't discriminate against
this is 2019,
China.
right? So
it's smack bang in the middle of all of that.
We saw this massive campaign come out of China that was trying to... Remember that, when people were supporting the Stop Asian Hate movement, like us, we watched the CCP start co-opting that and saying, oh, yeah, sure, that's great. By the way, if you criticize the Chinese government, that's Asian hate. And they tried to co-opt that movement. This is right before that happened. So this movie was quoted a lot, and it kind of picked up a lot for kind of driving that point home during their campaign.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll play a little more. Here we go.
This has been our land for generations.
Who says that?
I mean, come on.
who says that?
Who says that? Anyway.
It wasn't even. She didn't even like say anything to her to prompt that. Anyway.
You walked up to someone and says, like, get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. You
This is
don't
my
like it. Yeah,
land.
for generations.
It's my land, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you people want from us?
Now I know why they call you stupid blonde. America has always had immigrants. The Indians are the only real Americans.
By the way, just want to
Yeah?
just want to say something about
What?
that. There has been this campaign we've picked up on,
Yeah.
both you and I, when we were doing search results. China's trying to get search results about the Native American genocide from, the white people that came to America.
Yeah.
Which is a well-taught history for
it's-
something I
no
learned.
one's hiding it.
Literally
Yeah,
nonstop
yeah.
in school. They're trying to get Chinese government search results
Yeah.
to be on the top of the search page so that you learn about the Native American genocide from the Chinese government web
Yeah,
pages.
yeah, exactly.
It's
When you
wild.
type like Xinjiang genocide, it comes up with that first.
Native American genocide and
it's
stuff
interesting.
like that. Anyway,
Yeah,
that aside, paleface.
yeah. It's like your ancestors stole their land.
Ancestors stole their land. Hellface.
What did you just say to me?
And it goes on to
Yeah.
this massive like fight scene.
Anyway, so like all the white kids come and beat up the Asian kid, and then
because the Nazi girl like showed
yeah,
up and
and then Donnie Yen steps in and
Causes
like
shit.
teaches them all a lesson,
he like snaps at them and they die and shit.
It's like
Beats up high schoolers.
yeah, stay out of this, old man.
Oh, you want some too?
Donnie Yen kicks their ass.
Yeah,
Blah, blah, et cetera,
I gotta
et cetera.
say, like, if you gotta, you want some of this old man? What's it like? Stay out of this old man. Oh, you want some of this too? At least have a response. It's a very bad dialogue.
I don't want to get involved in this whole race stuff, but I will say
Yeah.
that looking back at this with fresh eyes now,
Yeah.
And watching how the whole thing played out, it's very, very much in line with what the CCP has been pushing. Don't send your kids abroad. No more monetary outflux. They don't want money leaving China anymore.
yeah.
No more brain drain.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff kind of lines up with, maybe this is less entertainment race baiting bullshit as it is propaganda.
It's propaganda. And by the way, Donnie Yen he produced that.
Yeah, he was one of the 3 producers.
Yeah. So it's not like he's just an actor following orders. This is his idea. This is his thing.
And
So-
then, doesn't it make sense, though? When you look at something like that without that context, I'll just brush it aside and be like, that's not for me, right? But
Yeah.
like, whatever, it's lazy race baiting bullshit.
Yeah.
But when I look at it with the context of he joined the CCP,
Yes.
he denounced his own people in Hong Kong, the people that are fighting for democracy, ethnically Chinese people,
Yeah.
gave up the U.S. citizenship, and then went on to try to appease the Chinese market to the point where he was literally standing next to Xi Jinping in performance. Like, it all makes sense, doesn't it?
He also demanded that his role in John Wick 4, that a lot of it was rewritten because he thought it was too stereotypical, something or other. But I can guarantee if you look into it, there'll be something that's kind of against the Chinese government or something that casts China in the
would
kind of
never-
light that the CCP doesn't like.
I would never make that insinuation until I see his affiliation with the Chinese
Yeah,
government.
so I'm
this
just
is-
saying that's a possibility.
My issue with this
Yeah.
is that you can do whatever you want or whatever. Like, I don't like to get involved too much in this stuff because entertainment's different than
Sure.
what we're talking about, usually human rights atrocities. But this does overlap into human rights because the Chinese government is the worst abuser of Chinese human rights in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a government that is operating concentration camps right now. And Donnie Yen is a part of the government that does that.
Yeah.
And that's really, really not cool to have someone like that represent an entire industry standing up on posters for an internationally popular film.
Yeah, for a very popular film. And I mean, this is back to the whole title of this episode and everything is the more popular somebody like Donnie Yen is, the more sway they have over people's opinions. Okay,
Yeah.
you look up to someone like that. You know, people pay attention to what they have to say, and if that person that has so much sway over people is literally a part of the Chinese government, part of their process of what they do, out there spreading the word of the Chinese Communist Party, that can be very dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, again, I am
yeah.
not 100% sold on this whole affiliation. Like, I don't know how much sway the CCP had over this new film and John Wick. I'm not trying to say anything like that.
No, but the fact is, because he is so popular and because he is in films like John Wick 4, his popularity just gets boosted to the stratosphere, and Xi Jinping knows this, and that's why he's standing next to Xi Jinping.
It's so convenient.
You know?
Like someone that I love to see Asian representation in movies, especially in Hollywood. I think it's fantastic. And it really, it's serving to undo some of the unfair past, right?
Yeah.
But when the person that's being propelled to the spotlight, and then, so that other people are not getting the spotlight, right?
Yeah.
Someone else could have had that role,
Sure.
right? That person is quite literally in the Chinese government.
He is, yeah.
I mean, there's no like, oh, he did a book signing and there
No,
was
he's
some
part.
CC
He's
people.
part of the government. He's
in the Chinese government.
He is part of the Chinese government.
Yeah, I mean, that's
you know?
just like,
Yeah.
whoa. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, you could say the same for any like very left-leaning or very right-leaning person in politics or whatever. If you decide to put them in an acting role and they're getting very popular, they sway opinions.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, it's for one of the worst regimes in human history.
So that's pretty much why we had to bring this up and tell you all about it.
By the way, I want to say that this is not the first time this has happened with a very famous Hong Konger.
No,
There's
Jackie
a
Chan.
deep history of this.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan, who sold out completely to the Chinese
He
government.
sold his own son out.
He ratted out his own son in Beijing.
Yeah, he didn't support him when, Anyway, it's
Just shake
it's
it
awful.
off, shake off the nephrolysis.
Yeah, exactly.
Shake off the kidney stones.
Yeah.